Now, you're taken ill in the middle of the night, or maybe a child. You call your doctor. You know, because in 2004, 90% of GPs opted out of providing any out-of-hours cover. It won't be anyone you know. That's 90% of surgeries. But where does the doctor who turns out to see you come from? More and more of these shifts are being filled with doctors who commute from Eastern Europe. The attraction for them is obvious. They can earn as much in a single shift as they do in a whole month in Poland. But what about the patients? And who's responsible for making sure the enormous commute, on top of a full-time job elsewhere, doesn't imperil their care? Rachel Wright reports.
It's usually much more snow during this time.
Meet the 1,000-mile doctor who manages to hold down two jobs on opposite sides of Europe. Today he's off to Aberdeen, where he works every other weekend. The rest of the time he works in his native Poland. He's one of a growing number of foreign doctors propping up out-of-hours care in the UK.
Proszę się odwrócić tyłem do mnie. My name is Piotr Robiński. I'm a Polish doctor living here in Poland, and I fly to Scotland every second week to work for NHS.
Piotr Robiński has decided to commute from his home in Poznan rather than emigrate. For him, it's the best of both worlds. He can earn as much in one shift in Britain as in a month in Poland, and he gets to stay in his hometown.
I like this country, and I think it's developing very, very fast, and it will take only a few, maybe 10, maybe 20 years, but the level of life here and the UK will be the same.
Hi, Alistair.
Hello, Piotr.
Dr. Robiński was recruited by Alistair Stevenson, who runs an agency called Cherry Tree Medical. He has 40 out-of-hours GPs on the books, many of whom live in Poznan. He says he trains and mentors doctors like Piotr.
I just called them, sent an email, and had an interview with the director of Cherry Tree, and I started to work.
I think that the most important thing is to have a competent doctor there looking after
Alistair
the
Stevenson
patients
saw an
that
opportunity in
weekends are
2004 when 90% of GP surgeries opted out of providing out-of-hours care. Responsibility now fell directly to each individual NHS trust. In Grampian's case, a new body was set up called GMed to run the service. They then contracted agencies like Cherry Tree Medical to supply the doctors.
It wasn't a tender. It was basically a case of me calling the chief executive of GMed, explaining that we were doing a similar thing in other regions, and would he like one of our doctors? And that's basically as simple as that. There's no sort of tendering process. It's nothing as big or complicated as that. It's very much simply they had a need for a doctor, and we were able to supply that need.
For Dr. Robiński, commuting to a second job is a completely acceptable practice for a Polish doctor.
Doctors in UK usually work in one work, and in Poland doctors usually work in more than one work. So it's completely not unusual for me to take another job somewhere else. If I wouldn't go to Scotland, I would find out a second job here in Poland.
We joined Piotr on his commute to Scotland. He's already worked 4 days this week in Poznan, and he's heading off to Aberdeen to do 3 weekend shifts. It's now 5 o'clock and we're on a 4-hour drive to the airport. Piotr will be on the go for the next 18 hours. So are you feeling excited or are you a bit tired?
I'm not tired and I'm not excited. This is not my first journey, not the second, so I used to fly a lot, so I don't feel any excitement now.
Right.
The road to work, just like taking a bus. I will sit in the window. Thank you.
So you must be a Ryanair frequent flyer now, are you?
I think I should get some discount. If there will be no cheap flights, I couldn't afford to fly to Scotland.
You know, the thing about budget airlines is that they make flights a lot cheaper, places a lot more accessible. They can just end up making your commute a lot longer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rainer's delighted to welcome the Glasgow Press Week ahead of schedule, when the logo time is just after 11.
Are you happy to be on your land?
I learned to drive on the wrong side of the road. I was late once. It was the problem of the aeroplane, which was delayed 7 hours, and I couldn't do anything. We will drive 3-4 hours to reach Aberdeen. Very good.
Was it 10 to 5?
Yes, 10 to 5.
An hour until...
It's a good. I think it's a good time.
Well, it's only an hour until you start work.
Mm-hmm.
Can you cope with that?
I will.
After a quick shower and half a hamburger, Dr. Rubinski is on duty again.
Hi, this is Heather, the driver, which will drive my car.
Right, so you'll drive Dr. Rubinski, if you get a call, you'll drive him to wherever he's going?
Yes.
Right, okay. And is that the back phone?
Yes, and that's the phone when we are waiting for a call.
And it wasn't long before the first call came in.
Yeah, that's lovely, Barry. Okay, thanks very much. Bye. That's us.
Okay.
Okay.
And they're off to the first call of the evening. Dr. Rubinski never knows what his shift will hold. He may be in the surgery, or like tonight, he could be the doctor who does house calls. While Heather navigates the granite city of Aberdeen, Dr. Rubinski settles into his mobile office.
The patient, 75 years old patient with diarrhea lasting for a few days. There is no improvement after GP gave the medicines and needs for advice. Okay.
As Dr. Rubinski finds his first patient, another call is coming through for a home visit on the other side of Aberdeen. It will be at least 2 hours before he's able to stop for a brief cup of tea.
Well, it's been a very long day.
Yes. Like a marathon.
It's like a marathon. Yeah. And then how long is your shift tomorrow?
I have two parts of shift. I think 5 hours of working in the center and I think 4 hours in the car, just like now.
You were right. Hello? No rest tonight. You are popular.
Before he's even had a chance to finish his tea, the team are off again. It's a short but busy shift, usually around 4 house calls an evening.
Well, it's 10 o'clock at night and Dr. Rubinski has been called to his 4th patient of the evening. He's been on the go now for 18 hours and tomorrow he's got to go to the north of Scotland for another 9-hour shift. But Dr. Rubinski wouldn't be doing these hours if Scottish GPs were prepared to do this work.
We asked Piotr Rubinski whether patients might be worried that he was too tired to work properly.
The whole journey takes usually 12 hours, sometimes less. And I take only a few hours of work then. I do not work for more than 5 hours after my flight, and then I go to sleep. And I wake up in the morning and I'm not tired.